All right, welcome. Mike Simmons here. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out my video. In this video, you are going to learn everything you need to know about starting your own website and or blog using the free software called WordPress. I also give you some tips and show you some great free online resources that make your site building process go smoother. WordPress, in my opinion, is absolutely the best way to create your own website or blog. Even if you are an absolute beginner, you can create a great looking and very functional site. And there's no need to know any of that coding stuff either, because WordPress does that for you. And as you expand your knowledge, WordPress is still the best choice in my opinion, because there are so many ways you can customize WordPress sites. It's what I use for all of the sites that I build. I love WordPress. I don't think I'd be building sites without it. On screen, you're looking at the site that we are going to create, our website and blog, and we're going to use the 2015 theme, which is a great theme. I just started using it and I really like it a lot. It's the newest WordPress default theme at the time I'm making this video anyway. And for your information, a site is called a blog, like this one right here, when it displays its blog posts on the front page. And blog posts are generally updated fairly regularly, so the content changes on a regular basis, hopefully. A site is called a website if its front page is a static web page, which means the content doesn't change very much, if at all. But you can have a blog on your website, of course, a page which displays your blog posts, and you can have static web pages, and generally you do, on your blog. So this is our 2015 site that we're looking at right now. And this is a static web page that we're looking at right now that I made for the home page for one of the test sites that I made. We have an image slider right here, which are linked to blog posts. If you click on this, it'll go right to a blog post like this, just like that. And we also have our call to action buttons, which are linked to different pages or posts on our site also. So if I click on Get Started, it's going to take us to the How to Begin category that we have on our site. And of course we have our menu over here, and we have our home page, and then we have some blog category pages. So if I click on Keep Motivated, it'll take us to this blog category page. We have our gallery page, which is actually displaying our images in an image carousel, and we also made a Contact Us page. And our contact page is configured so when someone fills out this form, and of course uses the CAPTCHA form too to prove they're human, then clicks on Send and sends you a message, you'll receive an email, and they'll also receive a confirmation email telling them that you received their email. The 2015 theme has a lot of really nice features. You might notice this background image you can use. You can use colors or a background image over on the right here. You can also display a background image over here on the left, or just have a solid color like we have displaying. Here's what the site would look like, say, on a smartphone, and here's the menu you can expand and go back to our home page like this, and the slider still works. It's responsive too, and we have our call to action button still. One feature the 2015 theme doesn't have is the ability to have a logo like we have on our site. You'll need to go to my wphowtos.com site and download the free 2015 child theme that I have available for you. You'll also have to use a plugin, and a plugin is just code that plugs into your WordPress site. And I'll show you how to do all this. And on the sidebar of our site, which is over here on the left, you can of course change this color of the sidebar, or like I said, you can put in an image here if you'd like. And we have our menu, which we made. We also are going to cover how to make a newsletter and then give people the option to sign up for your newsletter. We have a couple different ways they can do that right here. They can click here and to go to subscribe to our newsletter page, and they just have to fill in their email right there and click sign up. And they also can sign up to your newsletter by putting in their email here and clicking sign up. So there's a couple different options you can use to display your newsletter sign up on your sidebar. Here's our Facebook like box, which is really easy to do. And here are some social icons which we are displaying in our sidebar, and you can also display them in your posts and or pages. I suggest that you watch the entire video to get the most out of it. Of course, you can rewind it as many times as you like, and there are timestamp links in the video description to make it easy for you to jump right to the section that you want to review. If you do have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below the video. I do my best to answer as I have time available. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up if you do find it helpful. Alright, so that is enough of a preview, so let's get started. The first thing you need to do is choose a domain name for your WordPress site. Your domain name is a unique web address, which means there's only one mikesheating.com on the internet, but there is also a mikesheating.net and a mikesheating.org and so forth. Now, if you are making a site for your business, I personally would try very hard to get a .com, and failing to do so, I would use a .net or .org and probably not anything else for a business site. For other types of sites, it's probably more acceptable to use a different extension besides those three. But that's just a personal preference. And a couple things to keep in mind for your domain name. You like to make it as short as possible while making it memorable and descriptive. Doesn't mean it has to be real short. I mean, Zappos.com is a great domain name. It's very memorable and it's a really big business, but you could have a domain name called mikesheating.com if that was your business, or Mike's Plumbing, or Mike's Heating and Plumbing, even though it's kind of long. If that was your business name, that would be okay. Not so good, in my opinion, would be mikesheatingllc.com, even though that might be your business name, or mikesheatingplumbing.com instead of Mike's Heating and Plumbing. You can use your keyword that you want to rank your site for in your domain name, but it is easy to do what's called over-optimization nowadays, and I am going to cover this a little bit more in part 2 of this video. Here's a really cool site called instantdomainsearch.com, which does exactly what it says. It's a really easy way to find out if a chosen domain name is available. It does it pretty much almost instantly. And after you've chosen your domain name and found out if it's available, of course, you're going to need to buy a domain name. And since we're making a self-hosted WordPress site, we're going to need to buy our web hosting too, which is a place to store our website files. You can buy your domain separately at a place like GoDaddy, Namecheap, and there's a whole bunch more places you can buy domains at. But you can also just purchase your domain when you buy your web hosting. Once we've got our hosting and our domain, then we're going to have to install WordPress on our domain. Your hosting and your domain are connected together via what is called the DNS, which is short for Domain Name Servers. When you sign up for your hosting, I'm sure you'll get an email from your hosting provider, which will list your name servers. If you did buy your domain and your hosting at the same place, then they're connected together for you. If you purchase your domain separately from your hosting, then you're going to have to connect them together with the name servers. And it's a really easy process. Generally, there's a tutorial at your domain registrar to show you how to do that, or you can just call them up and have them do it for you. And in either case, you're going to have to wait until the domain name service propagates, which means your hosting and your domain are connected, and that's usually 2 to 4 hours or even much less, but they do cover their bases and say it can take up to 72 hours. Once they are connected, though, you'll be able to log into your control panel, which is called your cPanel for short. And we are going to use our cPanel to install WordPress with a one-click WordPress installation script at HostGator called Quick Install, which is a real easy process, and I'm going to walk you through it. Once we've got WordPress installed on our domain, then we are going to set up our site properly. And once we've got the basic setup done, then we're going to customize our site by doing all of this right here, plus a whole lot more. So let's get started creating our WordPress site. And here we are at instantdomainsearch.com, which is a real easy way to find out if your chosen domain name is available. I just typed in Zesty Eating, which I know is not available because I have already purchased this domain. I'll add a blog to the end, and that is available. And you can just click on this little button here, and it'll take you to whatever domain registrar you have selected down at the bottom of the page. I have Namecheap right now. You can use GoDaddy or any of these other ones if you like. HostGator is where I've hosted the majority of my websites, and I've been using these guys for over 8 years. And I'm an old school kind of guy, so if I didn't have a good experience with these guys, I wouldn't be recommending them. I also use HostGator support, which has been generally very good in my experience. I generally call their toll-free number, but you can also use their live chat. And their support is available 24/7, 365 days a year. Let's click on this button right here to check out their shared web hosting plans. The Hatchling plan is HostGator's most inexpensive shared hosting plan. It only allows a single domain, but for some people that is just fine. If you know you're going to have more than one domain, the baby plan is the better option. They also have a business plan which has a couple different options here you can check out. I'm just going to click on this button right here. And here's HostGator's order form. And the first one, you just type in a domain if you'd like to purchase it at HostGator, which I believe is $12.95 a year. Or if you've already bought a domain somewhere else, you'll just click on this option here and then type in your domain name right here, just like that. And you choose your hosting plan. We'll choose the hatchling, and we'll keep it at 12 months. And then you have to enter in a username and security pin and all your billing info, and you can use PayPal if you'd like, but either way, make sure you put in especially a good email because they will send all your account info to that email. And they'll try to sell you some additional services here. I'm going to uncheck this one right here. CodeGuard might not be a bad thing to check into. It's not too expensive. For backing up your sites, I use other options, so I'm going to uncheck that. And right here where you enter a coupon code if you have one. This is HostGator's default 20% off coupon code. HostGator was kind enough to offer me a 30% off coupon code, MikeSave30, which you guys can use. And I do receive a commission from HostGator if you do use one of my coupon codes. But if you are finding value from my videos and you are planning on buying hosting at HostGator anyway, I certainly would appreciate it if you would use one of my codes. So if you do use one of my codes, thank you very much. You're never locked into anything, even if you do buy 6 months or a year or 3 years of hosting. HostGator does offer a full money-back guarantee for the first 45 days. Then after that, you can always get a prorated refund down the road if you really want to. Now, if you do really want to pay month to month, I do have another code you can use, MikeSave10. This will get you the first month of hosting for 1 penny, but after that, you do have to pay full price. So you'll get your biggest discount with MikeSave30 on 6 months or longer of hosting. So after you've decided what you're going to purchase and verified it right down here, you'll just put a check in this little box right here to agree to their terms of service and click on the Checkout Now button. And here's an email that HostGator will send you within usually 5 minutes or less with all your account info. What I like to do is just highlight all this information right here and then right click and copy and then paste it into a text document or a Word document so I have easy access to it. If you did buy your domain at HostGator, you won't have to connect them together via the name servers. If you bought your domain separately, you're going to need these name servers to connect your hosting and your domain together. Here's your password for your cPanel. Here's your username. And this is your control panel link, also called cPanel. And if you just click on this, it'll take you to the cPanel login screen. Now, if you don't get this screen when you click on that link, that means you'll need to wait a little longer. Once you do get the cPanel login screen, of course, you'll just put in your password right here, which they auto-generated for you, and your username, and then click Log In. And that will take you to your cPanel screen. And what we are going to do is just ignore all this information right now and scroll down to the bottom of the cPanel. We're just going to look for software services, and then we're just going to click on Quick Install. And then you'll see under blog software, we'll just click on WordPress, and then you'll click Continue. And here's the domain you're going to install WordPress on. And if you put something in here, that means you're going to install WordPress on a subdirectory. And don't do that unless you know what you're doing. You might just have one domain, so you might not have a drop-down arrow. You can enable auto upgrades if you'd like. I'm just going to uncheck that. Put in a good email for your admin email. You can pick a blog title. You can change this later if you'd like. And for your admin user, just pick something besides admin. Admin is what is used by millions of other folks, and that's a good way for hackers to get into your site, is to use admin as your admin user. So we'll just pick something else. And then their first and last name, this is your author name, your blog author name. And you can change that too down the road if you'd like. I'll just put in my real name. Then we'll just click on Install Now. And that's how quick install is. That was all in real time. And here's some info. I like to highlight and copy this and put it into that text file or Word document. I'm just going to click on our WP admin link right here. That'll take us to our login screen for our WordPress dashboard. Now, if you get a 404 error or 403 error, that means you're just going to have to wait a few minutes before you can access your WP admin. We'll go back here and copy our password. And I'm going to change this, by the way, so anybody trying to get into my site will not be able to. And then we'll just click Log In. All right, that will take us to our WordPress dashboard, which is where pretty much everything happens as regards to our site building goes. And you'll see the welcome to WordPress, and they say they have some links assembled for you. And we're actually going to cover all of this, so we're not going to use this. But right here where it says View Your Site, I'm going to right-click and open up our site in a new tab. We are going to go through some of the basic stuff and get that out of the way first, and before we get into the fun stuff. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is hover my mouse over plugins and just click on that. And there are a couple plugins right here, Jetpack by WordPress.com and Mojo Marketplace. I'm just going to put a check in both of those boxes, click deactivate, and then click apply. For the sake of this video, we're just going to deactivate both of those plugins for now, and we will talk more about plugins later. Now let's hover our mouse over users and then click on your profile. And we're not going to disable the visual editor. This is the admin color scheme. That's just talking about these colors right in here. We'll change it to, let's say, ocean for the sake of this demonstration. Keyboard shortcuts, you can check out the more information link if you'd like. Show toolbar when viewing site. That's just talking about this dark gray toolbar at the top of your page, and your site viewers aren't going to see this. You'll only see this if you're logged into your WP Admin administrator account, and you can hover over your user and log out and do all sorts of other things. So I keep that enabled. You can't change your username. I'll put in our first and last name. This is your blog author name. So you can make this whatever you want. I'm just going to use my real name. Display name publicly. I like to display it as my name, not my WP admin username. Email, you can change this if you want. And down here you can change your password. For instance, I'll just use something called lastpass.com and generate a secure password just like this. I'll copy this first, and then I'll click accept. And you notice it's a very strong password. And I'm just going to click on update profile to save our new password and our changes. Alright, now let's continue setting up our site properly. Let's hover our mouse over settings and we'll just click on settings. That's going to take us to our general settings page. And the first one, site title, you want to have something besides really your site name or business name or anything like that. You want to tell Google, the search engines, what your site's theme is about. So I'm just going to paste in healthy eating and exercise on a budget, which is what our site is supposed to be about. I'm going to remove the tagline. The WordPress address URL and site address URL, generally these are going to be exactly the same unless you installed WordPress on a subfolder or subdirectory. Now another thing you have to decide is whether you want 3 W's and a dot in front of your domain name or not. You can have it either way. People will get to your site no matter if they type in the 3 W's and a dot or not. But to the search engines, whether you have those W's and the dot in front or not, it makes it an entirely different domain. So you have to pick one version or the other and stick with it. You know, if you're posting links on social sites or anything like that to your site or your blog, you want to make sure you just stick with one version and don't use the other version. Email address, of course, you can change if you want. Your time zone, it's good to have your time zone wherever you live in. That's what's going to show up on your blog post. I live on the West Coast. I'm not sure what the UTC number is, but I know that I'm in the same time zone as Los Angeles, so I'll just select that, and we'll just go ahead and click Save Changes. And the next settings is called Writing. We'll click on that one. And you can change things like, for instance, you can change your default blog post category. So whenever you make a blog post, it'll go into this default category. We don't have any other categories right now. We'll add some in a while. And the only thing we're really going to change is we're going to add a few more pinging URLs. So when you publish a new blog post, WordPress will automatically notify whatever URLs you have listed down there and say, hey, there's a new blog post on zestyeating.com. So let's go over to my WPHowTos.com site, and there's a ping list that I have that you can use. Scroll down until you find the updated WordPress ping list, and then click on this little icon which will highlight all the URLs, and then I'm just going to right click and copy, or you can press Control C, and we'll go back and we'll just highlight this because we already have this in my list, and we'll paste those URLs in there, and we'll click Save Changes. The next setting is called Reading. We'll click on that one. Here's where you can change what your front page displays as. Right now it's a blog page. We're going to leave it at that for now. We are going to make some pages on our site too, and we can change our front page to display as a static web page if we want a little later. Blog pages show at most 10 posts. That's a good number. You can change that if you want. Syndication feeds, that's talking about your RSS feed. I wouldn't make this any more than 15. I leave it at 10. We'll leave this box unchecked because we want the search engines to index our site. We didn't make any changes, so let's click on Discussion under Settings. And right here, I usually uncheck this one right here, allow link notifications from other blogs. And we'll leave this checked to allow people to post comments on our pages and posts. We can override this setting by a page-by-page basis if we want, and I'll show you how to do that. And we're not going to make any other changes, so we'll click on Save Changes. The next setting is called Media. We'll click on that one. I usually don't change much in here, but you can change, say, the default thumbnail size of your images if you want, for, say, if 150 by 150 is not the correct size. And these other sizes too, you can change the default sizes. But we are not going to make any changes to our media settings, so let's click on Permalinks under Settings. And what a permalink is, we'll go to our website that we opened up. And here's our site right now. Of course, we're going to change this a lot by the time we're done with it. What a permalink is, I'll click on this Hello World default blog post. Now you'll see right up here in the URL. Here's our main URL, and then here is the year and the date and the name of the blog post. So we'll go back to permalinks. We'll change it to post name. You can leave it day and name if you'd like. I'm just going to click on Save Changes. And one last setting, if you did use HostGator's Quick Install to install WordPress on your site, you'll have the WP Super Cache setting right here. We'll go ahead and click on that. WP Super Cache is a good plugin. I use this plugin or another one on pretty much all my sites. And what this plugin does is decrease your page load speeds, so it makes your site faster, which is a good thing. But right now, when we're editing our site, we want to turn the caching off. If you have your caching on when you're editing your site, sometimes it makes it a little hard to see your updates as you make them to your site. So we'll just check this box and then click Update Status. Alright, so that is all our settings for now. Right now, let's click on Appearance. And the Appearance section is where a lot of the stuff that has to do with the look and layout of your site is contained. And the first one is the Themes page. This is the current active theme, which is the 2015 theme, which is what we are going to use. There's also some other themes installed here, all the old default themes of WordPress. You can activate a theme that you already have installed if you'd like, or you can click on the live preview and take a look at what it would look like on your site. And here is the 2014 theme, which, by the way, I like a lot. If you want to save and activate that theme, of course, you'll click right here. I'm just going to close it out. If you'd like to add a different theme entirely than what you have installed, click on Add New. And here's where a bunch of what are called the featured themes of WordPress.org will show up. And you can check out the details and preview, say, of the High Tide theme right here. And then you can install it. I'm going to close it out. I don't generally use too many free themes besides the WordPress default themes unless they have been around a while or the theme author has been around a while and supports his themes. Because what can happen if you use a free theme, they can stop supporting it because they're really not making any money at it and they decide that it's not worth their while. You can also upload a theme. This is the way you'll upload a zip file of, say, a premium theme that you buy. And here's where you'll just click on Browse and then navigate to wherever you have the zip file of your theme located, and then click on Install. We are going to use this in just a minute, but first we are going to go to my wphowtos.com site. And this is a blog post I made, and there'll be a link below the video in the video description to this blog post. And once you're at this blog post, just look for this free done for you child theme heading right here. And then here's the link to the child theme zip file. Just go ahead and click on that and then download and save it onto your computer where you can find it, hopefully. And then we'll come back to our dashboard under the Add Themes, and we'll click on Browse and navigate to wherever we put our child theme zip file. Then you can just double click on the zip file and then click on Install Now. And like it says right here, it does require the parent theme 2015 theme to be installed, which it is, so we'll just click on Activate. Now under our themes page, we have our 2015 child theme as the active theme. Let's go back to our site and reload the tab. Uh-oh, that doesn't look good, does it? Fatal error. But not to worry, because what this really means is because this child theme, I changed some code in it so we can have a logo on our 2015 site. And we need to install a plugin. So let's hover over plugins and click on Add New. Now where it says Search Plugins, let's just type in Theme Logo. Then we'll just click the Enter button on our keyboard. We're just going to click Install Now. OK. Then we're going to activate the plugin. Now if we go back and reload our tab on our site, you'll notice that first of all it says, oops, that page can't be found. That's because we changed, remember, the permalinks up here. Okay, now here's our site with our Hello World blog post. And here is our site title, which is going to be replaced by a logo once we make it and upload it to our site. Let's go back to our WordPress dashboard. Before we get started really changing the look of our 2015 site, here are some very helpful add-ons for Firefox. And all of these except for Clip will have a Chrome extension too. Now, I use these all the time and I am going to be using these in this video, so I'd suggest taking the time right now and installing these either on Firefox or Chrome. I know it'll take you a little time. You'll have to restart Firefox and all that sort of thing, but I am going to be using these and I use these all the time myself. This last one down here, LastPass.com, it's not a Chrome extension or Firefox add-on, but highly recommended you check this out. This saves all your login data when you log into different sites, and it encrypts the data, so it's very secure. Highly recommended, LastPass.com. Alright, now under Appearance, let's click on the Customize tab. And the Customize screen allows you to make changes and take a look at what they look like before they become permanent, so to speak. For instance, right here, the site title, I could change it right here, see what it looked like. I'm going to add the on back, and it changes just like that. The next option is colors, and the 2015 theme has a lot of really cool options that they've come out with. You have a base color scheme. Say right now it's the default color scheme. I can change it to the dark color scheme. Yellow, which really is pretty gaudy. Pink, purple, blue. We'll leave it blue right now. We can choose a background color. For instance, right here we can choose a blue. And I'll make it a little less of a blue, or just like that right here. We'll use that one. The header and sidebar text color, that's talking about this stuff right here, we're just going to leave it at white. The header and sidebar background color, that's talking about this blue right here. And this will actually show up as a header if you're viewing your site in a mobile device, but on a regular computer it's just your sidebar color. We'll just leave everything as is for now. And you can actually upload an image and show in your sidebar if you'd like, and or your header of a mobile site. I'm not going to do that in this video. Background image, that'll show up over here to the right of this header, and we are going to upload a background image. I'm going to click Select Image. I'll drag an image right here to use as our background image. And in my experience with using the 2015 theme in a background image, I found it best to use an image at least 2200 wide or 2300 wide. Otherwise, on a larger screen, say a regular desktop monitor, to the right, your image is going to run out and then it'll just be the background color. I'm just going to click Choose Image, and there's our background image. Now, I would put no repeat. That's what I use for larger images, and I'm going to center this image. You can play around with this if you'd like. And I'm going to keep the background attachment fixed. If you scroll, then it'll just scroll down to the bottom of the image, so you can use whichever one you prefer on that. I'm just going to click on Fixed. Alright, I like this background image we're going to use, but I don't like this color on the sidebar or mobile header. So what we are going to do, I'm going to go over to a demo that I've already made up with the 2015 theme, and I'm going to use the ColorZilla add-on by clicking on this icon up here in the toolbar menu. And then wherever you hold your cursor, a little crossbar will show up. Then if you just click once, it's going to copy that color to your clipboard. We'll go back here And then we're going to scroll back up to colors, sidebar background color. I'm going to click select color, highlight this color in here by holding my left mouse and dragging, and then click Control V to paste that new color in there. All right, I like that color a lot better, so I'm just going to close out the colors right here. And you can also play around with your widgets in the customized screen and even change your site front page from a blog page, which is what it is right now, to displaying a static page. We're not going to do that right now. I'm going to click on Save and Publish to save these changes we've made. Then I'll click on this X to close out the customized screen. Now we'll go back to our site and reload the tab and see what it looks like. And here's our site right now, and it's looking much better. We have our blue in our sidebar, and then we have our background image showing up over here on the right. And here's our site title, which we are going to replace with a logo, but we need to make our logo first. But before we head over and make our logo, let's click on Measure It and find out the approximate size that our logo needs to be. You just hold down your mouse and drag the cursor around until you get an approximate size, which will show up right here. And it's approximately 250 by about 120 or 110. Go ahead and close that out. Now let's go over to a site called PicMonkey.com and make our logo. And PicMonkey is a really nice site. You can do a lot of things here. You can edit and touch up and make a collage, and it's all for free. They do have an upgrade for about 30 bucks a year, I think, which has some more options there, but you don't need to upgrade if you don't want to. Let's hover over Design and then click on Custom. And we'll start off making our logo a little larger than we need. Then we'll save it in a smaller size. So we'll start out at 600 by 400 and click on Make It. First thing we'll do is hover over this capital T, little t, the text icon, and click on that. And there's a bunch of different fonts you can choose from. I'm going to use one called Franchise. Then I'm going to click on Add Text. Then I'll hold down my left mouse and drag this around, and then I'm going to hold my left mouse and drag it like this to make it a little larger. Then I'm going to click inside this right here and type in what I want for my logo. Zesty Eating. Then I'll click outside the text box. Then I'll click back inside the text to highlight the text. Then you'll have the text options open up, and then we're going to increase the size all the way like that. We'll click outside the text box again. Then you can increase the size more. We'll just increase it until it goes off the page, just about like that. And we'll click outside the text box. Then I'm going to click Add Text again, and we're going to add our tagline for our logo. I'll drag that around and make it about like this. Then I'll click inside the text box and add our tagline, just like that. I'll click outside the text box. Oops, made a capital I instead of a little I. I'll change that. Then I'll click outside the text box, and then I'll click back inside here to highlight that. Then I'm going to make it a little bigger. Then I'm going to make it bold also. I'll need to make this text box a little bit bigger. I'll click outside, and then there we go, just like that. Now let's change the colors of the individual letters of Zesty to make it look something like this logo right here. So I'm going to click inside the text box, and then I'm just going to drag and highlight the Y, and I'm going to use the color selector right here, and I'll make it a purplish color like that. I'll click outside the text box, click back in, highlight the T and make it a greenish color. There we go. And you can also add icons or images or whatever you'd like. So we're going to click on this little butterfly right here for the overlays. And I'm going to click the arrow to select something from my computer. And I've already got an icon right here that I'm going to use. I'm going to hold down the left mouse and drag this around. Then I'm going to resize it a little bit like so. There we go. The background where this logo is going to show up is that blue that we have in our sidebar, not this white. So let's go back to our site, and we're going to use ColorZilla to copy this blue color. So wherever you hold the cursor and then click, you'll copy the color that the cursor is placed on. So I'll click right here. I'll go back. Then we'll click on this icon right here for basic edits. Then we'll click on Canvas Color. When we save our logo, we're going to save it with a transparent canvas, which means no background color at all. But right now, let's take a look and see what it looks like with a blue. So we'll paste that color in there, and I'll click Apply, and there we go. Looks pretty good. Now let's click on Crop. Then you just drag your left mouse around to where you want to crop your image. I'll drag it like this, just about like that, right there. Then I'll click Apply. Now we're going to save it to our computer, but before we do, let's click on Canvas Color and check the box where it says Transparent Canvas, and I'll click Apply. Now we'll click on Save. And we'll save it in this larger image first, and then we'll come back and save a smaller version that we'll use for our logos. So I'll just type in a name for our logo file, Zesty Logo. I'll save it to my computer by clicking on the button. Now let's click Save again, and under Dimensions we'll click on Change, and remember our logo is going to be about 250 wide, so I'll type that in there, and then automatically the height will be adjusted to scale, and I'll click Save to my computer again, and I'll save it as Zesty Logo 250. And you can save it in a couple other size versions if you'd like. Now let's upload it to our site. So back on our WordPress dashboard under Media, let's click Add New. Then you can just navigate to wherever you have saved your image, or you can just drag it right here and drop it, which is what I'm going to do. There we go. Now click on the Edit button. And right here where it says File URL, we need to highlight that and then copy that URL. And then we're going to hover over Appearance and click on Theme Logo. And then right here where it says Logo Location, just highlight that default and then paste in your logo URL and click Save Changes. Now let's go back to our site and reload the tab. And there is our logo we just made. And if we are viewing our site on a mobile phone or a tablet or something like that, our logo looks great there too. You won't see this dark gray toolbar, of course, unless you're logged into your WP admin account. If you do decide you'd rather display your site title rather than your logo, there's a couple different ways you can go about that. First of all, we'll go to our WP admin dashboard, and then under Appearance, we'll click on Theme Logo. You can just remove this URL of our logo image just by placing your cursor in there and then right-click and select all. Then you'll just hit your backspace and remove that URL and then click Save Changes. And then your site title will start showing up instead of your logo. To get rid of the theme logo plugin entirely, say sometime down the road, the plugin stops working. It's worked fine for several years for me, but you never know what's going to happen. It's a very easy process to get rid of the plugin. First, you would go to Plugins, and then find the theme logo plugin and deactivate it and then delete it. And you would also need to go to your control panel or your cPanel. And once you're at your cPanel or control panel, you'll find the File section and then click on File Manager. And then you'll look for WP Content and double click to open that up. And then double click on Themes. And then find your 2015 child folder and double click to open that up. Then you'll just simply highlight this header.php file and then click on delete. And you won't hurt anything by doing so because this is your child theme and not your parent theme. Now let's start adding some content to our site. And since our home page is displaying our blog posts right now, we'll start with blog posts. So let's go to our WP admin dashboard. Then we'll hover over Posts and click on Add New. First thing we'll need is a title for our new blog post, so I'll go ahead and paste something in here. I'll use Clipple Paste to do it. And you want to put a title that's interesting, but it still contains a relevant phrase that you're trying to theme your blog post and your blog about. Our blog is supposed to be about eating healthy and exercising on a budget, so we do have an inexpensive and delicious way to eat super healthy. So this title is relevant to what our blog is supposed to be themed about. And down here is where you add your content for your blog posts. Right now we're using the visual editor, and if you've used any text editor like Microsoft Word, this looks pretty familiar to you, I'm sure. Now if you click on this little icon toolbar toggle, that'll open up some more options for your visual editor. I'm going to go ahead and paste in some content for our blog post. Here is a tip for you though. If you are pasting in content from Microsoft Word or something similar, you want to click on this paste as text option right here before you do paste the content in, because Microsoft Word generally has some formatting that kind of messes up the way your content will look in the WordPress editor. And of course we have all these options here. I could make this right here. I could make it a bold or italic if I wanted to. You can add links by simply highlighting the text you want as a link and then clicking on this little chain link icon at Insert Edit Link and click on that. Paste in your URL of whatever you want to link to. I'm linking to my contact page on wphowtos.com. And my general rule of thumb, if I'm taking people off my site, I will open up the link in a new window or tab so it doesn't close down my site. I'll go ahead and click Add Link. And if you wanted to remove your link, of course, you'll just highlight the text and then click this Remove Link icon. The visual editor gives you a lot of options you can use without ever having to revert to using HTML code. But there is a way to add even more options to the WordPress visual editor. So to do that, we are going to hover over Plugins and click on Add New. And then we're going to search for a plugin called TinyMCE Advanced. And we'll just do a search for that one. And I'm just going to click Install Now. A lot of times after you install a plugin and or a WordPress theme, you'll see some more options appearing over here in the left in the dashboard menu. Sometimes it displays under Appearance, sometimes it's under Settings, which is where the TinyMCE Advanced is, so we'll click on that. And here are the options it has right now, and you want to make sure to have this box checked right here. I'm going to add a few more. I'm going to add font family and font sizes. So after you drag the options you want to display in your WordPress visual editor, you'll just click on Save Changes. Now let's go back to our post edit screen and I'll refresh the tab. I better save a draft first so we don't lose all this data, so I'm going to save it as a draft. So now we have even more options showing up in our WordPress visual editor. Over on the right here under Publish, of course, you can save your draft. You can also click on Preview button, which will open up in a new tab and display your post as it is right now. You can publish immediately, or you can choose to publish your post at a future date if you'd like. You can change the visibility of your post. You can make it private so nobody except for people with a link can view it. There are a whole bunch of different blog post formats you can check out. I generally just use the standard blog post format. Down here at the bottom where it says Featured Image, let's click on the Set Featured Image link. And you can choose an image from your media library if you'd like, or you can upload a file from your computer, which is what I am going to do. I'll click on Upload Files. I'm just going to drag an image from my computer and drop it on here. And we'll just click on Set Featured Image. Now down at the bottom you'll see your featured image displaying. I'm going to click on the Preview button again. And here's our featured image, which shows up on the top of our content. Let's go back to our Edit Post screen, and we'll go ahead and add another image into the content. So I'll place my cursor where I want to insert the image. I'll click on Add Media, and I'm going to click on Upload Files again. Go ahead and drop another image on there. And down at the bottom where it says Attachment Display Settings, you can choose your alignment if you'd like to align it to the left, center, right, or none. I'm going to align it to the left, and I'm not going to link the image to anything. You can link it to a custom URL or a page. I'm just going to click None. And you can decide to insert it full size, a thumbnail, or medium. We'll just use the medium size, and I'll click Insert into Post. And there is our image so far. I'm going to click Preview again. And now you'll notice we have our image displaying on the left and the text wraps around on the right because we aligned our image to the left. I'm going to go ahead and add some more images to this blog post, so I'm going to pause the video while I do so. Okay, I've added quite a few more images to our blog post, and I've aligned them to the right and to the left and so forth. Now, if you're looking in the visual editor, it looks like they're all just piled right up on top of each other, except for that last one about with the box of chocolates. But let's click on the Preview button again, and then we'll see how it really looks like on our blog post. So now you know on the blog post itself, the images are actually not all just above the text. This image is aligned to the right, this one's aligned to the right, so the text wraps around to the left and so forth, all the way down to the bottom here. So you're not always going to get an accurate view in the WordPress visual editor. That's why it's good to use this preview tab. To edit one of these images, you'll simply click on the image and then you'll open up this edit screen. You hold your mouse over one of these little boxes and you can drag the image so it's a little smaller like that if you'd like. I'm going to click undo because I don't want to do that. You can also change the alignment right here. If you click on this edit icon right here, then you can make further changes to your image details if you'd like. As far as where you can find all these really nice images, here's some really good sources for you to use. Here are some free sources. These first three in particular are really good. This one's just kind of a unique site you can check out. Here are a couple paid sources if you really can't find the image that you need. Here's a couple sources to find icons. Here's a quick look at some of those sources for royalty-free images. Here's morgfile.com. On Morgfile, you have to click on this free photos link right here. And then you can just do a search right up here. I'll just type in fruit and click enter on my keyboard. And you got a whole bunch of images showing up. Say the kiwi right here. I'll click on that. Then you can just click right here to download your image. Here is pixabay.com. I'll go ahead and do a search for fruit on this one too. And we have some sponsored images up here. You have to pay on iStock Photo, I believe, to use these images right here. Down below are the free images. We can click on the blueberries one. And here's the picture of the blueberries. You can select which size of image you want to download first by selecting these little radio buttons right here, and then just click on download. And here's freeimages.com. I already did a search for fruit on this one. And you just like the other sites, you just click on the image you want to download. And here's our image of fruits in a vase. And you just find this little download link right here and just click on that. And that will open up the image in a new tab. And then you'll have to right click and save image as. And all three of these sites like you to sign up for a free account. Of course, it's free, so it doesn't cost you anything. And you can get some great images on all three of these sites. Let's talk a little bit more about images before we move on. Now here's the preview of our blog post, and down at the bottom here's the image of that box of chocolates. Now I inserted it into our post as a medium-sized image, so that's what's displaying right here. The actual size that's uploaded on our site though, go to our media library and click on that image, the actual size is like almost 10 times bigger than what we need. Now it'll display as a medium-sized image on our blog post, but WordPress will access this larger image and then resize it automatically, so it ends up actually slowing our page load speed down, especially if you get a bunch of large images. The best thing to do is actually to resize it before you upload it to your WordPress site. So let's go over to PicMonkey again, and we'll click on the edit button. And there's that box of chocolates image. I'm going to double click to open that up. And then I'm going to click on save. And then you might have to scroll down, but you'll see dimensions, and then you'll click on change. And then once I've changed the dimensions, then I would save it to my computer, and then I would upload it to my site. And PicMonkey is also a really good site just to edit your images further. You can resize them, sharpen them, change the exposure right here. I'm going to click on the crop button. And where you see this actual size, this is the actual size in pixels of the cropped area that's showing right here. So you hold down your left mouse and you can adjust the cropped area, and this actual size area will change. You could just click on apply if you like, and that would just crop this area that's showing right here. You can also just type in an actual size that you would like. I'll just put 1000 by 300. Say if you needed an image for an image slider or your header of your site, you could do it that way. Then you just click apply, and this is going to crop this area right here that's showing, and it's going to change it to this actual size right here, 1000 by 300 pixels. So if that was the dimensions you needed for your image slider, this is a good way to do it. Here's a list you can take a look at that will show you some other things you can do to optimize your images. Of course, we talked about the file size. And by the way, all these lists will be available on my wphowtos.com site. There's also another thing we can do to optimize our images further. Let's hover over plugins and click on Add New. And we'll upload a plugin called EWWW Image Optimizer. I'll just click on Install Now. And this plugin will automatically optimize any images you upload to your site. Now, if you've got a bunch of images that you've already uploaded to your site, you can hover over Settings and click on EWWW. Then you can just look for this link which says Bulk Optimize and click on that. Let's go back to our blog post. Alright, in our edit screen for our blog post, if you scroll down on the right hand side, you'll notice categories and tags. Now, categories and tags are just meant to help your site visitors browse your site easier. Each blog post must go in a category, and categories are like the table of contents of your blog post, making it easier for your visitors to find similar blog posts in the same category. Tags, you don't have to have a tag for your blog post. I'll go ahead and add a tag, say NutraBullet. And I'll click on Add. And I'll add a new category right here. I'll say Healthy Eating and Exercise, and I'll click on Add New. I'll uncheck the Uncategorized category. Then I'll come up here and click Update for our blog post. Let's go over to the category section under Posts. So I'll click on that. Alright, here is the categories page. This is where you can manage the categories you've already created. We've got a couple right here. And you can also add new categories, which is what I'm going to do right now. Go ahead and add a category called Books. And below the name, you'll have to make a slug, which is the URL-friendly version of the name. And your slug is basically going to be the same as your name, except all in lowercase. And if you have more than one word in your category name, you'll put a hyphen in between the words in your slug, just like that. You can have a parent for your category, so you can have subcategories or child categories. We're not going to do that. And a description of your category really isn't necessary, so we'll go ahead and click Add New Category. Now we have our Books category showing up in our category list, and that's a relevant category for a site about healthy eating and exercise, because there's a lot of diet and exercise books, of course. I'm going to add a couple more relevant categories to our site, and I'm also going to make a blog post for each of our new categories. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while I do that. Okay, now I've added a couple more relevant categories to our blog categories. We now have books, healthy eating and exercise, how to begin, motivation, and we also have this uncategorized category. What I like to do once I get some other categories besides this one, I like to go and delete this one. First thing I'm going to do is go to Settings and Writing. And we have our default post category, which means every time you make a blog post and don't choose the category, it's going to go into this uncategorized category. We'll change that. We'll make it healthy eating and exercise, and I'll click Save Changes. Now we'll go back to our categories page. We will just go ahead and get rid of this uncategorized category by clicking on Delete. Now we just have our four main categories for our blog page. And over here we have our slugs for each category. Then under count, that is how many blog posts you have in each category. So if I click on this 2 under motivation, it's going to open up the blog posts that we have under that category. And you might notice this category sticky post and wonder what that is, and I'm going to tell you in just a couple minutes. But first, let's go to our posts page. I'll go ahead and click on all posts. And this lists all the posts we have on our site. Of course, if you have a lot of them, it'll probably take more than one page to display them. And you can hover over a blog post and click on Edit, or you can click on Quick Edit, like this. That allows you to change the categories and allow or not allow comments and change the status and that sort of thing. And if you'd like to edit more than one at a time, you can put a check in the box of the post that you want to edit. And then under Bulk Actions, click the down arrow and click on Edit. Or you can even delete them if you want, and then click on Apply. And this is going to make changes to all the categories that you had selected right here. So for instance, if we don't want to allow comments on all these, I'm going to put Do Not Allow and click on Update. Okay, we updated those 3 posts. Let's go over to our site and take a look at our home page, which is our blog page right now. And your main blog page is going to display your latest post that you've made first. So this is the last post that I've made, so it's displaying first on the blog page. If we wanted to change that, let's go back to our post page. Say we wanted to make this post right here the first one that anybody sees when they go to our blog page. Well, what you do is just click on Quick Edit. Then right here where it says Make This Post Sticky, put a check in that box right there and then click on Update. Then we'll go back to our blog page and reload the tab. And now it has this featured tab right here, which means it's the sticky post on our blog, so it shows up first on our blog page. I also added a plugin that allows you to do this in categories too. So if we click on the motivation category, and this blog post right here, which is showing up on top, I actually made this blog post first, so it shouldn't show up on top normally. This one should show up on top. But what I did, first of all, is I installed a plugin called Category Sticky Post and then activated it, of course. And then under Posts, where it says Category Sticky Post, I'll go ahead and click on this link. And then over on the right-hand side where it says Category Sticky, I selected this category Motivation for this to be a sticky post in the category Motivation, and then click Update on the post. Let's do one more thing. Let's add a video to this blog post right here. Before I go get the video though, we're going to use Measure It again. Remember, I think it's around 550 or 600 wide. Let's see what it says right here. 640, so we'll make the video about 580, something like that wide. And I've already found a video that we're going to use, the importance of healthy food, which goes right along with the theme of our site. I'm going to highlight the URL to that video, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to take advantage of YouTube's Embed feature right here. I'm going to click on Embed, then I'm going to click Show More. Then right here where it says Custom Size, you can pick a video size that you want to embed. It has some different sizes you can use, and then click on Custom Size. And I want to make sure that it's proportional, so I typed in 580, and then I clicked outside of the box, and it automatically gave me the height of the video, which is about 435. So 580 by 435 is what we need. So now I'm going to go back to our blog post edit screen, and I'm going to actually use the text editor instead of the visual editor just to make sure I get the video right on top of the page. So I'm going to click our cursor right in front of that code right there. I'm going to click Insert Shortcode. Then I'm going to click on, well, I can click on YouTube or YouTube Advanced. I'll try YouTube Advanced and see what happens here. We'll paste in the URL to that video right here. It's asking for a width. We'll make it 580, and then the height we wanted about 435, so I'll type that in there. 435, 440, I guess is what it's going to give us, 580 by 540. We want it to be responsive. Show controls, that's good. We can hide the progress bar on mouse out. Show title bar, I'm going to click no. Autoplay, no. Loop, no. Related videos, no. Show full screen button, yes. Modest branding, no. Theme, dark theme, well, we'll just leave that as is. And we're going to click Insert Shortcode. Then I'm going to update our blog post. And we'll go back to our site and reload the tab. And there is our video embedded in our site, just like that. All right, before we make some pages for our site, let's make a custom menu for people to navigate through our site. So let's go back to our dashboard. Then under Appearance, let's click on Menus. First of all, we have to create a menu. We'll just call this one Main. Click on Create Menu. Right now, we don't have any pages really to add to our site. We're going to get rid of this sample page eventually. But let's click on the arrow under Categories, and we'll select all these categories and add them to our navigation menu. So we'll just go ahead and click on Add Menu. And of course, you can rearrange where they display in the menu if you'd like. You want the books one on top there. And under Menu Settings, we're going to put a check where it says Primary Menu, and then we're going to click on Save Menu. We'll go back to our site and refresh the tab. And here's our new menu. Of course, if we click on one of these links, it'll take us straight to the, say, the Motivation blog category page. If you wanted to change this motivation to something else in the navigation menu, let's go back to Menus. Then when we're on our Menus page, we'll just click this arrow to open up the Motivation navigation link. And then under Navigation Label, let's put something else besides motivation. We'll put Keep Motivated. Then I'll click Save Menu. We'll go back to our site and reload the tab. And now instead of motivation, Keep Motivated displays. You can also make a link in your navigation menu to pretty much any URL you want. Say right here, I could put my wphowtos.com site in here. Then under link text, I'll put WP How-Tos. I'll click Add to Menu. Then I'll click on Save Menu. We'll go back and reload our tab. And then if I click on this WP How-Tos navigation link, that is going to open up my website right on the page here. There's only one problem with that though. That actually closes down our site. So what we want to do is open up that link in a new tab or window. So let's go back to our menus page. First of all, let's click the arrow under Screen Options. We want to select this Link Target. Put a check in that box next to Link Target. That's going to give us another option now. Let's click the arrow under wphowtos.com and we're going to put a check in the box, open up link in a new window or tab, and we'll click Save Menu. All right, that's our menu for now, and of course you can add more items to your menu as you need to. Right now we are going to start adding some pages to our site. And the first page we are going to add is our topical hub page, which is going to be a home page that we can use if we want to. And it's going to look very similar to this page right here, which I configured on my test site. We're going to have an image slider right here, which has the featured images from a few of our blog posts. And then we're going to have some call to action buttons, which are linked actually to our blog category pages. And there'll be some text columns underneath the call to action buttons. So let's go back to our dashboard. Before we actually get started adding new pages, we are going to add a plugin which allows us to make that image slider and those call to action buttons and columns of our text and that sort of thing. So let's hover over plugins and click on Add New. We're going to do a search for a plugin called Shortcodes Ultimate, and I'll just click Enter on my keyboard, and we'll go ahead and install this plugin. And this plugin, Shortcodes Ultimate, does so many things. I don't know if you noticed, but it's been downloaded about 1,200,000 times and has a super high rating, and it's a great plugin. There's so many things it does. I haven't even begun to explore all the things it does, but let's click on this Where to Start link and we'll take a look. This will give you a lot of different aspects of the plugin, how to create a carousel, which we can do, and it has a tutorial video right here. Let's go back to our pages and click on Add New under Pages. And I'll paste in a title for our new topical hub page. Eating healthy and exercise on a budget. Get more zest for life. And I'll add an exclamation point on there. Now let's click on this Insert Shortcode button and we'll put in our image slider at the top of our page. And we'll just click on Slider right here, which is right in the middle, and you can see all these options it has over here. So there are tons of things you can do with this plugin. So I'm going to click on Slider. We'll select our image source, which I think I'm going to use blog categories images. And then you can just select one by clicking on it and then hold down your control button and select as many as you want in the blog categories. And for the link, I'm going to link our images to our blog posts. And link target I'm going to open up in the same window. Width I'm going to make it about 640, which sounds about right. If you remember, we can use the measure it to find out about the width of our content. So I'm just going to look about what approximate width is, about 650, so 640 will look good. And we'll leave it about 300 height. And we're going to leave everything else right in there. The speed, the autoplay. We'll just click on Insert Shortcode, and I'm going to click Update because I already tried this once, but you'll probably click on Publish. And then I'm just going to right-click on this View Page link and open up our page in a new tab to take a look at it. And here is our images that are going to show on our slider. Looks like we have 3 featured images, so if I click on this image right here, this should take us to the blog post, which it does. Let's go back to our page, and for the next part of our topical hub page, we are going to add these columns with the call to action buttons on top. Let's go back to our edit page window, and for this we are going to hover over shortcodes and click on examples, and I'm going to click on column layouts. We are going to use this column layout, the 1/3 by 1/3 by 1/3, so I'm going to click on this Get the Code. And I'm just going to copy this code right here down to the bottom, just like that. Click on Copy. And we're going to go back to our page. I'll paste in that code to start with. I'll click Update and we'll take a look at it. There we go. There's the 3 columns with the text right here. Now to add those call to action buttons, I'm just going to place my cursor right after this bracket here for this first column. So I'm going to place it right there, and then I'm going to click on Insert Shortcode, and I'll find the button tab right here, wherever it is. Let's see, where is the button tab? Right there. Okay, I'll click on that. And this is the link that the button is going to link to. I already found this URL by going to our site right here and clicking on How to Begin. Highlighted this URL and then clicked copy. Then I pasted it into the link right there. Our target, we're going to open it up in the same tab. You can change the color if you'd like. Let's see, I'll make it a little darker blue like that. And the size, we'll leave it at 6. You can add an icon. Let's see, they give you a bunch of icons you can use. Click on that one right there. We'll see what happens. Get started is what I'm going to use for content. That's going to be the text in the button itself. So I'm going to click on Insert Shortcode. Then I'll click on Update. We'll go back to our page right here and reload the tab. And here is our button. Now if I click on this button, it takes us to our How to Begin category. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing for these other 2 columns, so I'm going to pause the video and then I'll show you what I did. Alright, now we've got 3 call to action buttons. This is linked to the How to Begin. This is linked to, I think, the Books category. This is to our Motivation category. And I changed the dark blue of these buttons to the blue that matches the sidebar color using ColorZilla, and then I just highlighted this color right here under background and then pasted in the new color. And you make sure that you don't get these brackets mixed up, because if you take away a bracket, it's going to mess up everything. So let's do a couple things to our site now. Since we have our topical hub page, we'll go ahead and change our home page to show this topical hub page rather than our blog post. So we're going to go to settings and click on reading. And actually we have to make a blog page. So let's go back to pages first of all. I'm getting ahead of myself. And we'll just add a page called blog and we'll just click on publish. Now let's go back to settings, reading, and we'll select static page for our front page, and we'll select this one for our home page, and we'll select the blog page for our posts page and click on save changes. And then we will go to appearance menus. Then we can add these pages to our menu. You don't have to add the blog since these are all blog categories right here. So I think I'm just going to add this one for now. I'll click add to menu. And I'm going to change this to just basically display home in the navigation menu. So I'll click the down arrow and change the navigation label to home. Then I'll click on save menu. And I think I'll put the home link right at the top here and click save menu again. Go back and reload our tab. And there's our home page with the slider and the call to action buttons. And remember, these call to action buttons are linked to our various blog categories. One thing I might do, let's click on this Get Started call to action button again. This takes us to our How to Begin category. And we have one post in here, 5 simple steps to set up a healthy eating and exercise plan. This might be something you want your site visitors to see every time they clicked on that Get Started button or How to Begin menu item. So remember, we can take advantage of that category sticky post plugin and make this blog post, for example, one that they will see every time they click on that Getting Started button on your home page. And another thing you might want to consider, since you might want your site visitors to see this particular blog post every time, is just to make this a page rather than a blog post. So you have that option too. And speaking of pages, we are going to make a couple more pages for our site. The first one, we are going to need a plugin. Let's go to plugins. I've already installed this. I just need to activate it. It's a plugin called Contact Form 7. WordPress doesn't have a default contact form built in, so you need to add a plugin to have a contact form on your site. And this is a very good plugin. I'm going to click on Activate. And after you activate that plugin, you'll have this contact menu tab over on the left. I'll go ahead and click on that. And there's a default contact form already done for you. Let's click on that link right there. And here is our default contact form. And here's a shortcode you're going to need. I'm going to click on that to highlight it, and then right click and copy. And like it says right here, copy this code and paste into your post page or text widget. You can use it in a sidebar too if you'd like. Let's go make a page and we'll see what this contact form looks like. And we'll just call our page Contact Us. And we'll paste in that shortcode. And you can be in the visual editor or the text editor, by the way, when you paste in shortcodes into your pages or posts. I'm going to click on Publish. Now we'll click on View Page and take a look. And here's our default contact form with our name, email, subject, message, and there's a send button down there at the bottom. Let's go back to our Edit Contact Form window. To add a new field, say you want them to put in their phone number, what I generally do is just copy one of these fields like this and then just paste it in, and then I'll edit this form right here. First of all, I'm going to put in the text that I want to show, so I'm just going to put phone. Then over on the right where it says generate tag, let's click on that arrow to expand that, and we'll look for the telephone number. There we go, right there. You can make this a required field if you'd like, and we're just going to copy this code right here, and then I'm going to highlight this to replace this code that we copied with our new code. There we go, right there. And you're also going to want to highlight this code right here, and then we'll want to paste that code into this mail form right here. This is the email that we are going to receive when someone fills out the contact form, and it goes to whatever email address you have listed right here. By default, I believe it's your WP admin email. You can change this. I'm going to put from Zesty website contact and subject site inquiry. And if we go ahead and save this contact form and go back to our contact page and reload the tab, now we have our phone field showing up. Let's go back to our contact form. And Contact Form 7 also allows you to send a confirmation email to whoever fills out your contact form on your website. You just want to scroll down to the bottom here and put a check in this box which says use mail to. Then in the to field, you'll want to have this shortcode which you use to get their email address, whatever you have listed there. It could be just email or your email. From, and this is what they are going to see. I like to put my website name in there, or just my personal name. And the subject is your website request or something like that. And then I change the form over here. I put hi, and then I copy the shortcode right here, which is their name, whatever they fill out as their name. Then I just put in a short message like something like, I received your request and will reply as soon as I can. Best regards, Mike Simmons, zestyeating.com. So when anyone fills out your contact form on your website, they'll receive this confirmation message, letting them know that you did receive their message and kind of reminding them that they did send you a message. Oh, I did forget to put a CAPTCHA form into our contact form, so I'm sticking this edit into our video. And to put a CAPTCHA form into your contact form, you'll click Generate Tag and click on CAPTCHA. But before you can do that, you'll have to go to your plugins section and install and activate a plugin called Really Simple CAPTCHA. So of course you just go to your Add New under Plugins and search for Really Simple CAPTCHA and then install and activate it. Once you've done that, you can use your CAPTCHA option in the Contact Form 7. You do have some options here. Here's an image size option. I'm going to click large for our CAPTCHA image. Then I'm going to highlight this text right here, this code, copy it, and then click enter a couple times and paste it in there. Then I'm going to highlight the image CAPTCHA shortcode and copy it. And I'm going to paste it right in here. Then I'll place my cursor at the end right there and click enter. Then I'm going to type something in there. Prove you're human. Then I'm going to come over here and highlight the input field shortcode for our CAPTCHA form and come over here and highlight that and paste in our shortcode for our CAPTCHA form. And I'm going to click save on our CAPTCHA form, and I'm going to reload the tab on our contact page. And here's our CAPTCHA form, and of course they have to prove they're human by typing in that CAPTCHA down in that box in there, then clicking on send to send you a message on your website. Now let's hover over pages and let's add another new page. We'll make a gallery page for our site. And I'll go ahead and click down here in this box and then click on Insert Shortcode. And we can either use this carousel shortcode or the image gallery shortcode. I think I'll use the carousel, so I'll go ahead and click on that. And we will use the media library for our image sources. Click on Add Images. I'll just click inside one and then hold the Shift button down and click on the last image, and we'll display all these images in our image carousel. And I'll click on Add Selected Images, and you can hold down your left mouse and drag around to rearrange the order of the images if you want, like that. And you can link these images to various things. I think we'll just use the light box. When they click on an image, it'll display in a light box. And 600 by 300, 600 width by 300 height looks pretty good. I'll just scroll down to the bottom and click on Insert Shortcode. Go ahead and click on Publish. Open up our view page in a new tab and take a look. And here's our image carousel. If I click on one of these images, it'll display in a light box like that. So pretty cool. Of course, you can also use the gallery shortcode and have all your images displaying at once on your page if you'd like. Let's go back to our dashboard and hover over Appearance and then click on Menus. Let's add these two new pages to our navigation menu. So we'll add the gallery and the Contact Us, and we'll click Add to Menu, and we'll click on Save Menu. Go back and take a look at our new menu. Alright, now our gallery page and our Contact Us page are displaying in our navigation menu right over here. Now we are going to start configuring our sidebar. And the sidebar, of course, displays over on the side of your site. Depending on your theme, you can have a sidebar on the left like the 2015 theme does, or you could have one on the right, or you could have both. 2015 theme only gives us one option, which is our sidebar on the left. And the content in your sidebar is displayed using what are called widgets. For example, right here is what is called the Recent Posts widget, which shows however many, I'm not sure how many, but your latest posts that you've made. So first thing we are going to do is install a couple more plugins. So let's go back to our dashboard and we'll just click on Add New. First plugin we're going to install is called Easy Facebook Likebox. And here it is right here. I'm just going to click Install Now, and we'll activate it. Then we'll click Add New and add one more plugin right now. This one is called Black Studio TinyMCE Widget. And we'll click Enter on our keyboard. I've already got this plugin installed on our site. I'm just going to go to our installed plugins and activate it. Now let's hover over Appearance and click on Widgets. And right here is the widget area, which is all the widgets which are displaying in our sidebar right now. And over on the left are different widgets which you can configure and use in your sidebar. For instance, we are going to use this widget called Easy Facebook Likebox. All you do is hold down your left mouse and drag it over to where you want it displayed on your site. I'll just drop it right in there. And we have this widget, of course, because we just installed that plugin. And to use this widget, you have to have a fan page, not just your personal profile. I'm just going to use my wphowtos.com fan page URL. And you can adjust the width and the height. I think gets adjusted automatically. We'll use the light color scheme, put in responsive and see what happens. And I'm just going to click on Save. And we'll reload our tab and see what appears. And there is our Facebook Likebox. And I like using Facebook Likeboxes on websites. I don't know about you, when you see people's faces, it just makes everything seem more personal. It makes them more real. Let's go back to the widget area. You can also just remove some of these widgets that are displaying right now. I think I'm going to remove the recent comments. You just drag them over to the left and drop them off. If you've configured a widget and perhaps you want to use it later, if you're not decided whether you just want to delete it, you can just drag it down here to the bottom where it says Inactive Widgets and drop it in that area. That way it won't display on your sidebar, but you're not deleting it. You can use it later if you'd like. Alright, let's add another plugin to our site. So we'll click on Add New under Plugins. We'll search for one called Social Media Feather. And it looks like this one's been downloaded about 500,000 times or so and has pretty good ratings. I'm going to click Install Now. And after you've installed that plugin and activated it, under Settings, you're going to have something called Social Media. Let's click on that. And social is big nowadays, so it's a good idea to have links from on your website to your social accounts, whichever ones you have, and then links on your social accounts to your website. Social Media Feather allows you to display social icons to whatever accounts you have on your posts and your pages and your sidebar. We're just going to use the sidebar, but I'll demonstrate what it does in the posts section. So to display your icons in your posts, you can display sharing buttons, but I'm going to scroll down a little further here where it says display follow buttons. We'll display our follow buttons, and we'll put it before our post right here, follow buttons positions. And then where it says follow post types, we have posts selected. You can also do pages. You can hold down your shift button like this if you want it on posts and pages. We'll do that. Now let's scroll down to the bottom of the page where it says service providers. And of course, you don't want icons to social accounts that you don't have. Whatever accounts you have, for instance, where it says Facebook service, we're going to use follow. If you didn't have a Facebook account, you would put none right here. We'll put follow. Then you would paste in your link to your Facebook fan page or whatever you have under the Facebook follow link. Say we have a Twitter account, we'll put share and follow, and of course you'd want to paste in a link to your Twitter account there. And we'll remove the Google Plus, and we'll remove the Reddit, and I'll just remove all of these. We'll have our YouTube icon displaying, so we'll put follow on that one. None of these other ones we are going to use, and I'll just click on Save Changes. Now if we go to our site and reload the tab, there are our icons displaying. They're kind of big, and we have this little feather showing. So let's go back to our social media feather page right here. We'll uncheck this box where it says show credit. That's that little feather that shows up. Icon size, we're going to change it to a smaller icon. We'll make it 24 by 24. Click on Save Changes, and I'll reload the tab. Okay, that looks a little better. I like them a little smaller. You can adjust them to whatever size you want, of course. I'm going to go back to our social media feather and uncheck those boxes because we're not going to display them after our posts. Uncheck this box which says display follow buttons. Now the icons won't show after our posts and pages. Then we'll go down and click on Save Changes. What we are going to do though is display our social media icons in the widget area in our sidebars. We'll look for social media follow. You also have sharing here too. I'm just going to use the follow, and we'll put it down here right down at the bottom. Icon size, we'll use 32 by 32. Click on Save. Go take a look on our site. Alright, here are our social icons under this Follow Us title. And of course you can change this Follow Us to display whatever you'd like. And you can have different icons for other social media accounts that you have. Okay, before we head back to our WordPress dashboard, I notice on our home page right here we have the option for people to leave a reply. Let's remove that option. There's a couple different ways we can go about it. Of course, we can go to our Pages page and look for the page that we want to edit, which is right here, and click on Quick Edit, and then we can just uncheck this box which says Allow Comments. Here's another way you can do it. Up in the toolbar, just hover over Edit Page, and I'm going to open it up in a new tab. And then under Screen Options up the top here, we'll open that up and make sure you have this box right here checked, Discussion, and then just right on the page itself, you can decide whether you want to allow comments or not. So we can uncheck that box right there and click Update. So now if we come back to our page and reload the tab, that Leave a Reply should be gone, and it is. So now let's go back to our WordPress dashboard, and we're going to go to the plugins page and we're going to click on Add New. We're going to do a search for a plugin called MailPoet Newsletters. It's actually Newsletters, and then I'll click Enter on my keyboard. And this plugin has been downloaded about 3,300,000 times, and it has very high ratings. And in my limited experience, I just started playing around with it. I really like it a lot. So we're going to click Install Now, and we'll activate the plugin. Now over on the left, you're going to have a MailPoet tab. We'll go ahead and click on that. We are going to click on Settings now under MailPoet. Building up a subscriber list is a very good idea. Speaking of myself, I'm really late to the game myself because I've been so busy I never got around to it. I now am in the process of building up a subscriber list on my wphowtos.com site. With the MailPoet newsletter, you have a free version which we are going to use. And the company's address right here, it does say that it helps avoid spam filters, so I put in a fictitious address right here for Zesty Eating. You can choose to get emails when someone subscribes and or unsubscribes from your list. And there's some other options right down here. Here's an unsubscribe page. You can make your own, or they have a default one, which we can take a look at by clicking on preview, just like that. Let's go back up to the top and we'll click on sign up configuration. Enable sign up configuration. What this means is people have to opt in to go on your list, so they have to double opt in. They'll receive a email which asks them if they want to subscribe and to confirm their subscription. If you do click no, the people won't have to activate their subscriptions to receive your newsletter. So it's up to you on that. If you do choose yes, then they will receive an email, and here's the email subject line you can edit, and here's the email itself which you can edit. And there's also a confirmation page which you can make yourself, or you can just use their default one. Under the Send With tab, this is where you choose how you're going to send your newsletters. If you have a really small list, you can use your own website server, your hosting server. There is a limit on how many emails you can send. Most web hosts have those limits, and they suggest 70 emails per hour. Once you do build up your list past a certain point, though, you most likely will want to use a third-party sender of your email so you don't have to deal with your web host limits. And under the advanced options, here's the reply to name and email. I'll probably put something else besides my admin username, so I'll just type in this, my name. And there's some other options you can check out down in the advanced options. They have some add-ons you can use. Let's click on forms now. And they have a default form already made for you. I'll click edit. And on the default form, they're just asking for your first name and an email, and then the subscribe button. You can edit all this. For instance, you can remove the first name, so people, all they have to do is put in their email to subscribe to your list. You can edit the button. Instead of saying subscribe, you could put sign up or whatever you want. Sign up. Done. There we go. And there's some other fields you can just drag, just holding your left mouse down and drag over here just like this. And this one, it looks like you can put HTML in there. You could even put an image in there if you'd like. So I'll go ahead and click Save to save our form. Let's check out what this form looks like on our site. So I'm going to go over to our dashboard in a different page and go to Widgets. And after you've installed that plugin, you should have a MailPoet subscription form widget. I'll just drag it up to the top of our widget area just like this. You can put a title in there and create a new subscribe form. We'll just use the one that we already have right there. And I'll click Save. Go back to our site and reload our tab and take a look. There we go. Now it just says subscribe to our newsletter, and people just have to put in their email address and click on Sign Up. We'll go back to our dashboard, and now we're going to click on Newsletters under MailPoet. Here is our newsletters page. Here's the ones we've already created. This is a default one. Here's one I've already started on. In fact, here it is opened up in the browser window. Here's our logo, and then here's some blog posts, and you can do all sorts of things with this MailPoet Newsletters plugin. Let's go back and we'll click on Create a New Email, and we'll just basically duplicate this one right here that I've already done. And you have a choice of between a standard newsletter and an automatic newsletter. A standard one, you have to send it out manually. An automatic one, we can have one sent out every time someone subscribes to our list. If we have more than one list, of course, we'll choose which list we want to have. We can send it out immediately or several hours later, etc., etc. We'll send it out immediately. We'll choose our subject line, and we'll just paste something in here. Welcome to Zesty Eating, feeling good. Another exclamation point there. I'll click on Next Step. And like it says right here, you can drop your logo in this header. So I'm going to click on Images, and then I'm going to click on Add Images. I'll drag an image of our logo and drop it right in here. We could also choose some images from our blog post by clicking on that. And we could choose this one right here if we wanted and click Done. I'm going to drag our logo image over here and drop it right into this header. There we go, just like that. I think I'm going to remove this text right here by clicking on this X. And I'll remove this one too. Let's see here, I can drag this titles and text. You just hold down your left mouse and drag it over to where do you want to drop it. Drop it right there. And I'll paste in some text. I think I'll make this centered, and I'll make it a heading 2. like this. I'll paste in something else right down here, just like this. And I'm going to open up and view our newsletter in our browser, just like clicking on that link right there at the top. And here it is so far. Here's our logo, and here's our heading with some text right here. Let's see here. I think I'll align this to the left so it matches the text. I'll align it to the left like this. And we can drop in some more content right here. I think I'll use automatic latest content. Let me see. I'll drop it right here like this. You can select a blog category if you'd like. I'm just going to leave it blank, so we'll use all our blog categories, a maximum of posts to show in your newsletter. I'm going to click Done, and there we go. I'll remove this stuff right here. We can add stuff to our footer if we want. I'll click on this View Newsletter in your browser again, and here's our updated version with our blog post showing. Of course, you can edit these social bookmarks to go to your account, and you can put something in the footer there if you want. If we click on one of these links right here, or this one right here which says read more, it should open up our website to that blog post, and it does. So you get the idea. You can just play around with this, and of course you'll want to click on Save Changes after you're done with your newsletter. So I'll do that. Then we'll click on Next Step. Now when someone subscribes to our list, they're automatically going to receive that newsletter. And I'm going to change this reply to name right here. I'm going to put my name in there, and I'll click Save as Draft and Close. Let's go ahead and add a new page. We'll make a subscription page. So I'm going to put in as a title, Subscribe to our newsletter. I'll put an exclamation point there. And when you're in the visual editor, on the top right of the icons, there'll be this little letter icon. If you click on that, you can create a new form or select one that you've already made. We'll select our subscribe to our newsletter form and insert form. That will insert this shortcode right here. I'm going to put some text above it. Okay, I put a little text in there. I'm just going to click on Publish. Now if we go view our page in a new link, and here's our new newsletter subscription page. Of course, you might want to put a little bit more text describing your newsletter in here, but this will suffice for a demonstration. People just have to put their email in there and then click on Sign Up. I'm going to copy this URL to our subscription page, and we are going to go back to our widgets area. And once we're in the widgets area, we're going to look for our widget called Visual Editor. And we'll drag it up here to our widget area. We'll put it up on top. We have this Visual Editor widget because we installed that plugin Black Studio TinyMCE. And what this does is pretty much what it says. It allows you to use the Visual Editor, putting images and text and all sorts of things into your widget area using the Visual Editor. So we are going to make an alternate sign-up form on our sidebar. So I'm going to click on Add Media, and I'm going to use this image right here from our media library. And I'll click None for attachment URL for now. Or actually, I'll just click on Custom URL and paste in that URL to our subscription page, just like that. And we'll put it in as a medium-size image. Then I'm going to click on that image. I'm going to make it quite a bit smaller first of all, about like that. And I'm going to align it to the right. I'm just going to type something in here. Click here to sign up to our newsletter. And I'm going to link this click here by highlighting the text and then clicking on the chain link right here and pasting in that link to our subscription page again and click Add Link. And we'll click on Save. And let's go back to our site and see what happened. And here is our new sign up form. Of course, they have to click here or click on this image to go to our sign up subscription page and then sign up to your list by putting in their email and clicking on Sign Up. So there is one extra step, but of course you get the benefit of describing your newsletter more on your subscription page. Plus, this is a little bit more catchy than the standard sign-up form. So that will give you another option to have people subscribe to your list. All right, now let's go back to our WordPress dashboard, and then let's go to Plugins, and then we're going to click on Add New. We are going to add a plugin called WordFence Security. And WordPress is pretty secure right out of the box, but this makes it even more so. So I'm going to click Enter on our keyboard, and then I'm going to install and activate the plugin. And once you have WordFence installed, you'll have this WordFence menu tab item over on the left in your dashboard. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. That'll open up all the options they have. I pretty much don't do anything to WordFence. I just leave it as is when I install it. They do have a premium version, which you can have two-step sign up to your WordPress admin account by using your cell phone. You can do country blocking, you can scan different times, etc., etc. I'm just going to click on options. And here are the different options. Like I said, I just leave them all checked the way they are. You can put in an email address right here to receive alerts. And if you do make any changes or put in your email, of course, you'll want to click on Save Changes. I just wanted to show you a few things about the child theme that we installed. And when you go to Appearance Editor, by default, it's going to open up your style.css file sheet, your style sheet, excuse me, of whatever theme you have activated on your site. And right now we have our 2015 child theme activated. Now this stuff may all look pretty foreign to you, but it's really pretty simple to do customizations, little tweaks to your theme. For instance, let's go back to our site and we'll click on one of these category links right here. And this is our motivation category page, which displays posts in the motivation category. Now you can remove this white box right here which says category motivation real easily. Let's go back to our child theme. And I have the code already in here for you. And right here where it says use display none to remove post category at the top of the page, we are just going to copy display none just right here with the colon, and then put our cursor right there, click enter one time, and then paste that display none in there. Click update, go back to our page, reload the tab, and now that category motivation box is removed. I also put the code to remove this powered by WordPress little info box down at the footer of your site. So if you go back to your child theme footer info, we can put display none just like we did before, just by pasting in display none and clicking update on our file. All of this might seem kind of foreign to you if you're just getting into WordPress, but it's really pretty easy to make little changes. I'm going to put a link to my Firebug video right about now in an annotation. If you remember Firebug that we mentioned before about some of the utilities that I find very useful. And to use Firebug, once you have it installed on your site, I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration. For instance, I can hover over this post title and right click and then click on Inspect Element with Firebug. And here is our entry title info. Say we wanted to make the titles to our posts or page titles a little smaller. I could just do this right here. You notice how the font size went down. I actually have that in our child theme too. Right here where it says page and post title font, you can change this font size to a smaller size if you'd like. Plus there's other little tweaks that you can make to your site down the road. There is one last thing we're going to do to our site. If you remember the WP Supercache plugin, let's hover over Settings and then click on WP Supercache. And after you're done editing your site, you want to make sure that you re-enable the caching by clicking this little radio button right here, caching on, and click on Update Status. And that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you do have any comments or questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section below the video. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up if you did find it helpful. And as always, keep smiling and keep on keeping on.